And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. We're in the situation of a geomagnetic unrest. There could be a geomagnetic storm coming. It's in the forecast. We see a new sunspot, 2881, and a little blizzard. How about a little bit of blizzard? It's been an interesting 24 hours, let's just say. Even more than 24 hours, but in any case, we'll get to it in a bit. First, here's the sun in 3 wavelengths, 211, 193, and 171 angstroms. And the new sunspot 2881 is right up here. Sorry to all you YouTube channels out there wishing for no sunspots so that you could be right about grand solar minima. Sorry about the non-zero sunspot situation. Here's the intensitygram, and you can see the birth of sunspot 2881. It is a beta-class sunspot already, as it has already developed a trailing opposite polarity umbra. We'll show you all about it. It's part of the reason why we make the daily space weather videos. Here's what's going on in the solar system. There's where things will be in a week. The sun, Mercury, the moon, and the Earth will all be in a straight line. And everybody knows straight lines are very scary in space. So make sure you have your bunker prepared, live inside a Faraday cage, perhaps have a Faraday suit built. Here's what's going on above my head. I like to use in-the-sky.org. If you'd like to make yourself a sky chart, head to the site, put in your zip code or your city or whatever. And that yellow line is the ecliptic. If we had clear skies, which we don't since it's still snowing, we'd be able to see the moon, not too far from its apex. The radio flux, which is a measurement of the outer solar corona's radio output, it's a 10.7 centimeter frequency radio flux. Also 2800 megahertz if you prefer megahertz. At 74. There's the 1-year chart to put that in context. And that is a proportional. The radio flux is a proportional thing to sunspot number, discovered in 1947 by some Canadian radio enthusiasts. And there it is through cycle 24. To put that in context, we've got some fantastic helioviewer movies today. Here's a quick fade from 171 to 304 angstroms. And here is our first helioviewer movie. Allow me to vanish. And the geomagnetic storm or unrest conditions, the geomagnetic unrest conditions we're currently seeing are from that coronal hole right there. We can expect another geoaffective protonic stream to come from this coronal hole right here in about 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And we've got some fantastic close-ups of sunspot 2881. We'll save most of those toward the end of the video. By the way, we do still have a significant possibility of coronal mass ejections, as there is still a huge plasma filament draped over the northern the northern polar region. So you see that up there. You can sort of see that huge plasma filament there. And there are also some filaments kind of right in the middle. So despite relatively low levels of activity overall, still quite a significant chance for the requirement to make additional videos, really. Here's the animated 171 angstroms. And the close-ups of sunspot 2881 are splentacular. And maybe I'll have to copyright that term. Splentacular. Half splendid, half spectacular. So there's just the northern hemisphere. And we're only going to show you one close-up of the sunspots. We'll save the rest till the end of the video. And we'll try to shorten things up today, as there's a lot of work to do. So here is 1700 angstroms. And you can see that sunspot's entire formation. The umbra forms right about there. See that dark spot there? I don't know what happened with the Earth scale today. I don't worry too much about that. And let's blast through a whole bunch more data as we continue on. Next, we're going to look at volcanoes, as I'm interested in which volcanoes are erupting. Are you? Well, I hope so. Here's the report on it. Klyuchevskoye on the Kamchatka Peninsula is exploding. It's producing an 18,000-foot ash plume. Abiko, flight level 100, a 10,000-foot ash plume above Paramushir Island. Sakurajima, flight level 080, as it erupts. Mount Raung back on the list. That is East Java. Flight level 130, a 13,000-foot ash plume. Semeru erupting. No report on the size of the ash plume there. We saw a significant volcanic tectonic earthquake at a 4.1 magnitude on the southern flank of Kilauea as effusive eruptions continue at the summit. So Kilauea erupting down in Hawaii. Popocatépetl exploding. 19,000-foot ash plume above that caldera in central Mexico. Fuego in Guatemala, volcanic ash not observed. Please don't pole vault the caldera. Sangay exploding. Flight level 190. It's a 19,000-foot ash plume. Intermittent puffs of volcanic ash are seen from Sabancaya in Peru. Villarrica back on the list in central Chile. Although the activity remains stable at low levels, there is degassing and emission of water vapor. So it could be fixing for a larger eruption, although it's currently in stable condition, suggesting a delicate equilibrium between heat and magma supply. Next, looking at earthquakes. We saw at least one deep one under South America. And when I say under, I mean 184 kilometers under. It's a 4.8 magnitude quake. That one came in at 6:13 Universal Time yesterday, February 1st. And we're just going to scroll up the list. Here's another deep quake at Bolivia, a bit north of the one we just reported, and that came in about 2 hours and 15 minutes later. Here's another deep quake. This one is at Philippines. It's a 4.6 at 113 kilometers depth. Largest of the past 24 was this area north of India here in Nepal. It was a 5.2. That one came in at 21:31 on February 1st. And those times are all in universal time. Here's a deep quake under Tajikistan. A very deep quake. Oh, wait, that's not 600. That's 65. Here's a deep quake under Afghanistan as well. Very close to the Tajikistan quake. Another deep quake under Afghanistan. And we've seen quite a few of those over the past couple of years. No really big quakes, but Afghanistan is a bad place for earthquakes as the buildings are not particularly well made. Today's featured product is the smAshomash.org shirt. It's one of our many original designs. You may notice this from most of our banners. Have this graphic, as it is a homemade plasma graphic. So perhaps check that out. This one is in purple, our team color. And you can find all kinds of other stuff there as well. You can link to it from the website, from smAshomash.com. That would be the Smash store. We also have a smAsho store. Smash Merch is our latest store. Check those out. Perhaps also check out our forum. We just updated it yesterday as we covered a very interesting cosmology story yesterday, a gamma ray burster. If you want to hear about that, watch yesterday's daily space weather video. And today's smAsho stream was streamed live to twitch.tv/smAshomash. Perhaps consider downloading Twitch's free app. It's quite fantastic. And the Twitch streaming platform is great, which is why we stream on the regs. twitch.tv/smAsho. Also, we put up a bunch of blizzard videos yesterday, including one weather report about the physics of the double low that hit us. It was very interesting. There were actually 2 snowstorms striking at the same time. A video about the whiteout condition, a video about how my camera died while I was doing a video about shoveling snow in a short-sleeve shirt and shorts. Also, if you have a brutal blizzard where you are or extremely cold conditions, keep your bird feeder full. We've got a video about that as well. Keep your powder dry and your bird feeder full during brutal blizzards. Also, thanks to all of our BitChute subscribers. Cheers. And I would recommend everybody branch out into alt tech. As you may have noticed, there have been some issues with censorship, waste, fraud, and abuse, not just in government, but now in big tech as well. So I've been shouting from the rooftops about this for at least 5 years. Thanks all of you viewers who are actually listening. Frankly, we're surprised you're able to even see the videos. So let's do a cosmology segment, a quick short one. But first, let's thank our patrons. Hey, patrons. Thanks for being the true source of funding for the content. This is still last month's list, as we usually wait until about the 5th of the month to update our credit crawl. Thanks again, patrons. Please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com. Thanks to everybody who upgraded, became a new patron, etc. We really need your help, and so thanks for providing some. Thanks for opening up your now non-cobweb encrusted wallets and sending us a few bucks per month to ensure that these videos continue to exist and remain publicly visible. And we will be doing another fundraiser in April. There will be prizes and probably a free, we'll probably give out a prize of at least a free month of Patreon membership at the lowest level. And let's go to our cosmology segment here. Today's quantum random number is 797. Let's see what that coincides with at the Neil Gorell Swift Bat X-ray Observatory. Number 797 is Pulsar J 1826-1256. And there are the X-ray emissions from Pulsar J 1826-1256. There are the historic X-ray flux, the historic transients in X-ray, hard X-ray out of that pulsar. And you can see it's a pretty consistent X-ray source. It has been ramping up here a bit over the past, say, 6 years. And there is the 30-day. So it's a little bit irregular there, but overall, on a yearly scale, it's pretty consistent. Let's see if we can get a visual. First, we'll go to Simbad. Nothing to see here, folks. We'll move to Aladdin Light and check out some different wavelengths. Let's see if it shows up on the Chandra. There's a great view of that pulsar on the Chandra X-ray telescope. And we'll take a look at it in infrared also. The 2MASS usually has these things. And indeed it doesn't. So we'll just bring up the Chandra again. Yes, Pulsar J 1826-1256. Perhaps we'll look more in depth into this at a later time. That's today's cosmology segment. We cover it a little bit on the daily space weather videos as we've been seeing some interesting objects coming up with our quantum random dice throws. Next, we'll look at the real-time solar wind. And we've actually just reached the peak here of the coronal hole wind stream. It looks like it's just leveled off around 550 kilometers per second. So current solar wind speed about 544 kilometers per second. Solar wind density having dropped down from its highs. It reached all the way up to nearly 50 protons per cubic centimeter. Now down to about 9 protons per cubic centimeter. And you can see the BT-BZ shifting around as well as the phi angle shifting around as that plasma arrives. And you can see the heat up as well here. The bottom pane is the temperature of the incoming plasma as measured by the ACE and or the Discover. In this case, it's just the Discover spacecraft. And next we'll do some geospace magnetosphere movies, and since we're in geomagnetic unrest conditions, we'll actually include some additional data today. You can see the density is pressed back here a lot. So it's we didn't get a look at this when it was at nearly 50 protons per cubic centimeter. Keep in mind this only shows you from 0 to 4 protons per cubic centimeter. Here's the pressure, and each one of these panes are 4 hours of data. And you can see that high pressure associated with, mainly right now, the increased solar wind velocity, as 9 protons per cubic centimeter isn't that particularly high. Next, we'll look at ground magnetic perturbations. Geospace delta B, changes in the Earth's B field, and we do expect to see some auroras. We will show you the 30-minute auroral forecast momentarily. Some major perturbations there over Canada, and we expect to see some pretty significant auroras also. We'll show you where those are likely to be during this geomagnetic storm. Let's let this play through here. Here's the polar view as well. And you can see that spiral-looking appearance, especially in the northern hemisphere, since we've got 2 north poles. And the south pole should be shifted a little bit toward Australia. And indeed, you can tell that it is. Like 1,000 miles from the geographic South Pole. Here's your auroral forecast. And those are pretty well synced. It does show you the timestamps there. So this should kick up here as the velocity kicks up. And there you can see the auroras increasing in intensity and likelihood of being able to view. So we'll see if this actually makes it to geomagnetic storm conditions. I would say it's probably not going to, as the velocity looks like it's leveled off, and we did not reach a KP5. So here is the GOES magnetometer, and you can see these spiky readings. No surprise there, as the Earth has just crossed into the North Pole-oriented current sheet. So somewhere in that box there, the Earth's potential field surface source line crossed into a North Pole current sheet out of the South Pole current sheet. And that's why that is so spiky, as you get a little bit of magnetic indecision in these moments. Here's a visualization of what I was just talking about. It's a top view ecliptic plane field plot. It's part of the National Sunspot Observatory potential field surface source database here. This data is gathered from about 51 ground-based magnetometers, as well as magnetometers at stereo A and stereo B, which are what those plus signs are there. And you can see the Earth having just snapped across into the North Pole current sheet there, shown in green. Here is the line of sight field plot. It shows you the solar magnetogram and the sun's B field from our perspective. And it also shows you the poloidal fields. And let's look at the line of sight coronal hole field plot. And it's a little tough to see. It's just rotating in this area. There's a North Pole-oriented coronal hole trailing this one down here. So, yeah. Another coronal hole there. No major changes in the sun's B field. And last but not least, when it comes to magnetic data, here is the coronal magnetic field plot. The magnetic field plot of the solar corona, the sun's atmosphere. And it's a chaotic environment. We just show it daily because, well, frankly, it's visually cool. Here's a diagram of the Earth's atmosphere. And that red F over there on the right side, that's the F ionosphere layer where the GOES 16 makes its measurements. If you need to look at this again, just hit pause. We'll be here when you unpause. That's the beauty of video on demand. And here's another diagram. This also shows you the Van Allen belts, the location of GPS satellites, and so on. And we see some charging hazards here, surprisingly. We see some electron anomalies, and you see some orange level charging alerts here over places like Mexico, some of Central America there, north of the equator. So despite the electron flux having dipped, which is a typical thing you see during a coronal hole wind stream, there you can see the 3-day chart. And we've come out of warning levels here, having spent a couple of days solidly in warning levels. There's the 7-day chart. We normally show the 3-day chart on the daily space weather. And before we move on with more electron data, let me just check the life of the stream. And we are good. Here's the 1-year chart of the electron flux, courtesy Solon.info, to give you context for at least the last year of greater than 2 mega electron volt electron fluence. Here's a visualization of that inner Van Allen belt. And we see significant GPS errors here once again over North America and Antarctica. And some nighttime charge-ups over South America as well. And the forecast is for even lower levels of electron flux. I would tend to agree. That's the NOAA forecast for relativistic electrons. Here's one slice of the atmosphere. It's just the ionosphere layer. So this is at about 300 kilometers altitude. And this is an animation of an entire day. It's actually looking pretty normal here at this level. Nothing to really comment on there. There's the latest image from 10:45 Universal Time. And now we're on windy.com, and we're looking at the surface winds here. So this is actually the current situation. You see some very strong winds here off of northern New England's coast. 60-mile-per-hour winds there, and an onshore wind. You can see this powerful low-pressure system right here, just stagnated off the coast of New Jersey. It's been there since yesterday afternoon, just hanging out. And let's move to the jet stream. It's what we normally look at in the daily space weather. And look at the massive pressure gradient and the cold air being injected all the way down to Georgia. Yowzers. It's an extreme meridional jet stream bend. So here's the entire western portion of the planet. Look at the Arctic air being injected down here. Looks like a cold day for the North Pacific. Yowzers. That is extremely chaotic jet stream flow. Here's the entire geographic north region. And the jet stream is just all over the place, folks. Here is the eastern world's jet stream scenario. Bizarre jet stream situation there, especially east of Australia. And here's a closer look at the geographic South Pole region. A little chaotic down there as well. It's a jacked up jet stream. So here's what was going on yesterday where I was. This was late morning. Straight up whiteout conditions. You can't even see the mountain from here. Yeah, look at that. That is epic. Yowzers. And we did upload this video in full resolution. If you want to view that, it's all there on the YouTube channel. Also, check this one out. This is from last night at about 7:30. Look at the snow on the deck. It is epic. Can barely even open the door. So that was totally out of control. And after that, that was at about 7:30 last night. We've gotten another about maybe 6 inches since then. We're pushing 3 feet of snow here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And I am right in the epicenter of this one. Again, more videos on that available on the YouTube channel. youtube.com/smashamash/playlists. You'll find all kinds of additional content there. Here's the current radar situation. And yowzers, let's zoom into the Binghamton location here to show the northeast the current situation from the ground-based radar station. Again, that low just hanging out right off of the coast of Atlantic City there. And it's causing the system to just stagnate. Here's some more weather data. This is the surface wind situation on windy.com. Windy.com is a great mobile app, by the way. If you haven't checked that out, perhaps have a look. Windy.com. We show it daily. And let's actually advance this. I'm interested to see what the Euro forecast is for the movement of this. So it's going to slowly move to the northeast, according to the Euro forecast. There's where it thinks things will be tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And there's the GFS forecast lining up pretty closely there with the Euro forecast. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer. And we're going to zoom in here because this is an ongoing situation. It's still snowing here. So here's the water vapor map. And again, we'll zoom in on the same location here. Basically centering the map on eastern Pennsylvania. And again, I'm in Lehigh Valley. We are right in the epicenter of this. Close to 3 feet of snow have fallen. And it should be another interesting day. If you're wondering if my back is shattered yet, it's not shattered, but it's getting there. I will be doing a minimalist snow dig out because it's pretty out of control. And it's the biggest blizzard we've had since 2015. It might be the second biggest of all time. Again, snow continues to fall. And there's still some forecasted all throughout the day, even into the night tonight. Possibly even some snow showers hitting us tomorrow morning. So today is going to be pretty much a total loss in eastern Pennsylvania. And I think it's glorious. I think it's delightful, as I am a huge fan of snow. Hey, Smash team. Thanks for tuning into the video. We've got bonus features. Congratulations on viewing a channel that doesn't promote fraud. Don't forget to press like and subscribe. Press the notification bell, and please share the content on your social media. We need your help to get the content out there because, well, let's just say big tech isn't being particularly helpful. YouTube.com/smashamash. And thanks to everybody that views the videos in other locations as well. Here come the bonus features. It's a close-up of Sunspot 2881, both in colorized magnetogram and in intensitygram. So here is the intensitygram first. And there's Sunspot 2881. And you can see we've got a North Pole umbra trailed by a South Pole umbra, making that a beta-class sunspot. And there is some chance for a C-class solar flare associated with this. And there you can get a view of that. There's the North, there's the South Pole. So again, we could see some solar flares here. It's something we'll be keeping an eye on. And when I say eye on, well, the pun is intentional. Also, the vanishing is intentional. Here are the rest of our HelioViewer movies, and they are spectacular today. So here's 1700 angstroms again. And we've put this in about every wavelength, as there is a bunch of plasma filamentary stuff going on. The area right in front of that sunspot is quite interesting. It's not tentacles, it's not alien spacecraft, it's plasma filaments that are suspended by magnetic fields. There's 304 angstroms. Here's 335 angstroms, one of my favorites. And keep in mind, folks, these are artificial colors, as this portion of the UV spectrum is invisible to the human eye. Giant Eiffel Tower-looking plasma filament back here. And we saved the best for last. This is 211 angstroms. Amazing filamentary behavior going on there ahead of Sunspot 2881. Check it out. That is out of control. Here's 131 angstroms. Here's 171. And last but not least, here's 94. And we are out. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, use the proper instruments. Don't drink it. If you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Visit our links and support the channel. And may that solar wind be at your back and that covidiously absent from your doorstep.